What you making?
Lunch.
What's for lunch?
Scrambled eggs.
Oh, how do you make those?
With the same ingredients you use for pie clips.
Yum.
Making pie clips. That's all we had.
What a lovely spot for making pikelets. This is the Kurth kiln, and it was constructed at the outbreak of World War II to produce charcoal as an alternative fuel in case of an oil blockade. Named a Kurth kiln because the guy who patented the technology it used was a guy whose surname was Kurth, and he was a scientist based in Tasmania. And the area where we're staying at the moment is the Kurth Kiln Regional Park. G'day everyone. We've been in the van full time for a couple of nights now. Moved out of our house, had our first night stealth camping, which was a bit of an adventure.
I don't think we should say where we were.
Yeah, we won't say where we were camping, but let's just say that when morning came, we found we couldn't get out. Fortunately, events changed and we were able to get out of where we needed to be, where we were by the time we needed to. Yesterday was a big day. We had an engineering appointment for the van, had the inspection done, and a VAS certificate. It's a certificate that's required here in Australia for vehicle modification so that we could register the van as a motorhome. So now the van's all officially registered as a mobile home, a motorhome in Victoria. That's a massive milestone for us. We didn't think we were going to be able to get that done before we left Victoria, so that's a huge load off. And then we came out to where we are right now, which is the Kurth Kiln Regional Park, and spent a night here, which has been absolutely lovely. It's really nice to be out in nature, in the peace and the quiet. You can hear the insects and the bird song and see the trees in the background, and it's been lovely to spend some time here, hasn't it? I have discovered an issue with the electrical system which I need to resolve. I think I know what the issue is, and probably go into that later when I have the parts. So I've ordered parts for that, and just waiting for them to arrive. They should arrive tomorrow at our daughter's house. Since we're homeless, I had to get them shipped there. We're not homeless, we have a van. Our van doesn't have an address, so parts are being shipped to our daughter's house, and we'll pick them up from there tomorrow. So yeah, it's a couple of days till Christmas. Looking forward to that, and starting the big trip north. Anything you want to say?
No.
It's a great day for ice cream. So I mentioned yesterday that we have an electrical issue which we've discovered, and that is that when we're drawing large current, this circuit breaker just here, the 300 amp one, seems to be cutting off power. Now it's not tripping and it's not doing enough current that it would trip, but if I meter it when it happens, I've still got full battery voltage on the input side of that circuit breaker, but on the output side that comes out to the positive bus bar, it drops to around 3 volts for a few seconds and then it recovers. So I think there's some kind of protection that's going on in this circuit breaker, but it's cutting out when the system's doing about, I don't know, 130, 140 amps, something like that. So obviously that's not much good to me. If it's going to do that at 130 amps, it's a 300 amp breaker. So I'm just going to quickly swap that out and see if that sorts the issue. I've got a replacement one which is basically the same thing, just in case I've just got a faulty one. But if that's no good, then I've also got a fuse, A&L fuse holder and fuses. So one of those two things should sort the issue. I'm pretty confident, so we'll give it a shot. Okay, so it's it in place. I haven't screwed it to the wall yet, but let's give it a test and see what happens. One thing that was causing it to trip off was when we were trying to use the convection part of the microwave. So try heating it up and see what happens. Okay, well the plot thickens. The new one just tripped off, which the old one wasn't doing. I wouldn't have thought that it was doing 300 amps. So I've just had it trip off again. As you can see here, this battery was reporting that it was doing 27.5 amps at the time. So assuming that all the batteries were doing a roughly equal amount of work, 5 batteries at say 30 amps, so 150 amps, which would mean that this circuit breaker is tripping off at about half of what the current that it should be. So I'm going to change it over to a fuse and we'll see what happens. Okay, so that's our 300 amp fuse installed. Let's see what happens now. So far so good. The cables are cool to the touch, which I would expect because they're not anything like at their ampacity capacity. The oven's still going strong. Definitely would have tripped off by now, still on the circuit breaker, so I think we can call the issue resolved. Yeah, the oven has reached temperature and the battery draw has just dropped considerably because the other element in the oven has turned off, and we weren't able to get it even up to temperature without it tripping off before. So definitely problem resolved. I can smell that the oven is hot. The inverter fan has just turned off, meaning the inverter is not now doing very much work at all, which would be consistent with the battery draw amps having dropped significantly as well. So yeah, problem solved. My Sparky did tell me that these circuit breakers may be rated at a particular rating, but they often will trip off at a lower draw than they're supposed to. So I guess that's the problem. I wanted to use a resettable circuit breaker rather than a fuse, but if they're not going to do the job they're meant to do properly, then there's no point. So I'll leave the other ones in for the moment, though we haven't had any problems with the other ones, but particularly these high current ones, apparently are not known for being particularly reliable. So lesson learned, I guess. Okay, that's all buttoned up. I had to modify the cover for the fuse to get it on there because of the angle the cable's coming in at, but that's fine. I probably could have got away with not even having the cover on there, but better safe than sorry. So that's that issue resolved. Well, it's Christmas Eve. This evening we're camping out in our daughter's driveway. Last night we stayed in a truck stop off Eastlink. So we've had a bit of variety in the places that we've stayed in the few nights that we've been living in the van. Glad to have the issues resolved, and looking forward to settling in to living in the van. Christmas Day tomorrow, so Merry Christmas everybody. I hope you've had a lovely Christmas with family and friends, and remember that Jesus is the reason for the season. It's his birth that we celebrate at Christmas. So take some time to ponder the amazing miracle of a God who enters into creation to reconcile his creation to himself. Merry Christmas. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you next time. See ya.